Okay, with the headlines, TfL in the UK has teamed up with Black Cultural Archives to launch the first ever Black History Tube map, obviously because of Black History Month, celebrating the rich and varied contribution that Black people have made to London and the UK. It's a really nice map, actually. It's a great idea. Then we have Matador Network. They have interactive photos and they show what sea level rise could look like in 30 major cities. It is not a pretty picture. Originally published by independent organization, Climate Central. Then we have the New Zealand Herald talking about Prince Charles in the UK revealing his car, an Aston Martin, running on cheese and wine biofuel. And the fuel is called E85. It is a potent cocktail of distilled bioethanol from waste wine and fermented dairy solids. Right. And talking about the royals, we have the Royal Central mentioning Queen Mathilde. She was speaking at the Global Mental Health Summit in Paris in her role as an advocate for the promotion of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And she called for all actors to work together to find practical solutions that can be tailored to a variety of different situations. Then we have the Standard UK talking about Shell, Rolls-Royce, Airbus, and they call for a swifter movement on green jet fuel. Not sure how I feel about that. Then we have Vanuatu. It is launching a global campaign to seek a climate change advisory opinion from the International Court of Justice. In a statement, they said that the current levels of action and support for vulnerable developing countries are insufficient. And they want the International Court of Justice to clarify the responsibilities for climate change under international law. Now, I spoke with Professor Stefan Gossling, and he is professor at Sweden's Linnaeus University School of Business and Economics. He co-authored the study Climate Change Vulnerability Indices for Tourism. And this identifies the countries with tourism economies most at risk from climate change, like Vanuatu. Now, I asked him, what does he believe? What does he hope the possible outcome of the Vanuatu government taking this to court might be?
Obviously, we see lawsuits having a major impact on how seriously mitigation is taken by governments. I mean, the German government most recently was forced to reconsider its position on climate change, with the federal court coming to the conclusion that climate action was not significant enough to secure the free speech of future generations, which is a very interesting take on this. But you have also seen in the Netherlands how Shell has been forced to decarbonize by a law decision, a court decision, and not just notably in terms of its own operations rather than the product itself. And all of this tells us that perhaps this is going in the direction where indeed the rights of future generations are considered by court decisions, and where this might actually force governments and countries to decarbonize.
So is Vanuatu doing the right thing by bringing this to the International Court of Justice?
If you're about to lose your home, obviously you do what you can to preserve it. And this should definitely get the attention of the Court of Justice, I hope. And I definitely think it's a good way forward for small island states to pursue these pathways towards, forcing other players to do more about climate change, because very clearly it's a limited number of industrialized countries, and within these countries, a limited number of people who are contributing the most to the problem.
So I can see that you're very much in favor of this.
Well, as scientists, you're never in favor of anything. You're observing processes, but obviously you're hoping that things will take certain directions. We have new research coming out of different universities showing how action was systematically delayed and downplayed by companies, by politicians working in tandem with companies, even involving scientists, unfortunately.
Okay, I asked Stefan about another article his name was attached to. It was raining all the time. Friends of mine during the pandemic, they did a staycation here in the UK, and indeed it was raining all the time, the most horrible holiday they've ever had. Now, if you go to these small island states, if you go to Vanuatu, one thing you're certain of, it's a sunny holiday. Now, these places are economically heavily dependent on tourism. At the same time, people have to fly a long distance to get there, so they are contributing to a much greater extent to climate change. Now, then again, they are taking this to court. So, is there a conflict there? And what, in Stefan's opinion, is the solution?
We should never point fingers. That's just a way of, delaying action. Everyone has a responsibility, rich or poor. We have perhaps had too much focus on tourism growth as the economic engine in their island economies. This has perhaps been too self-evident. Many of these small islands even import workforce from abroad with, by means of air transport. And obviously that then becomes a different type of economic system where you even rely on imported labor in order to manage it. I think there's many issues here that are in the background that nobody is discussing, and this is the time we started this.